So I'm a Lubbock native, Texas native. I grew up here. It was a little town. I hated it. I moved away. I missed it. I missed the flat, the dry, the brown. Primarily, I missed the prevailing wind, and I moved back. And I went to Tech for a long time, and then I kind of messed around Texas, and then I ended up in New York. I finished school at NYU. When I moved from Broadway to Kingsgate, I started carrying painters, and I found that if I was trying to carry Santa Fe painters, I ended up with their secondary work, and that there were so few places for local artists to show their work. So I stopped carrying anybody but local. I talked to Louise about wanting to come down here and move my gallery and my house down here. And would that be okay? And she said, absolutely.
I think Charles moving his business from Kingsgate down here really was a risk or leap of faith or whatever you want to call it. But he couldn't fulfill the dreams that he had there. He couldn't build live-work studios for artists on 82nd Street.
Chad Plunkett is my project manager. Chad worked for me as a framer at Kingsgate. And Chad has 2 master's degrees. He's got a master's degree in sculpture, and he has a master's degree in landscape architecture.
It started off as just Charles wanting to move his business down here. And then through the generosity of Margaret Talkington, she gave that initial seed money to develop the studio project. And so then it got to be more than just Charles's house and Charles's gallery. And I think the interesting thing is it could have gone in a lot of different directions at that point. But Charles, being Charles, wanted to help artists. And so that's been his passion. That's kind of the generosity of Charles coming out.
I talked to Upe, who is the architect of record for the CASP project, and told him what I needed.
It was kind of interesting. He sort of sneaked in my house. We actually built a house, my wife and I, 10 years ago and in the fall, I believe it was September. Charles comes over and he heard about that red house together with Jane Henry, and he walked through the house. So a big man with big ID steps into the house. He doesn't say much, he just looks around and leaves. So that was our first encounter.
Upe is, as we all know when we spend any time with him at all, Swiss. And he is brief, concise, and to the point. He doesn't waste space, he doesn't waste money, and he has a big vision. And I wanted a big vision.
And I really felt it was very powerful how Charles really came to live his dream, right? I mean, the opportunities, windows opened up for him, and he went down there and just with a force going for this vision. And we tried to capture that, basically making a unit here, having gallery and private life and fun connected. So the courtyard is the fun part, so bridging both ends. And then the studio flats also having that vision for the artist working and living. So these are his ideas, his visions.
CASP has a mission statement. The mission statement is to provide studio space for working artists in an art community, primarily on and around the LHUCA campus.
CASP is good for artists. I'll use myself as a classic example. When I graduated with my master's, I was in Clemson, South Carolina, and I just had to move because there was nothing there for me. And I realized I had an idea to make a piece. And I said, oh, I need this tool and that tool, and I owned none of them. And so I couldn't make the work that I wanted to make because I didn't own enough clamps and I didn't own a welder. And so it took me years to get enough tools for me to make the work that I wanted to make. Part of the goal in what the print studio does and the metal studio does is that equipment is there and it's right now. So students that graduate in printmaking or welding, maybe they can't afford that print press or they can't afford that welder. Well, they can stay in Lubbock and they can continue to develop their work in Lubbock and use the equipment that we're able to provide to them.
CASP couldn't have come to be if it hadn't been for Louise. And the Underwood Center gave the entire local arts community a raft to climb onto.
We're just starting to see some of the fruits of those labors in terms of the collaboration that can take place between artists.
It's a really rich environment for artists to feed off of each other. At different times I can walk around, see other artists working, they're my friends now, and I can shoot ideas off of them, bounce ideas back and forth, brainstorm, get a little feedback when I need it, and just have a like-minded person around.
I think a lot of time when you're alone working, at home or in your studio, I think there's like a lack of motivation, but just because you're kind of working in solitary, but being downtown, immersed kind of with other artists that are also working all the time in their studios, there's a lot of focus, I think, that's gained from it.
It's been an amazing opportunity. I'm really proud to have been a part of it. I really look up to Charles and everything he's done. It's been an amazing chance for me to make my work right here in the middle of it all, and then once a month be able to clean it all up and open up the door and have everybody come to me for once instead of me having to go out and search the audience. It's been great.
Being able to just get up and go out and work, it cuts out all your travel time, and you get more done. And the facilities are kind of inspirational. You get to have all that nice natural light coming in. And
CASP is not done yet. I think we're seeing a good start, a good beginning, but we have dreams for a bigger studio project.
Our next big move, we're trying to raise money to build 20 more studios, smaller, minimalist studios, hard work studios. And so we're trying to raise $1.6 million.
So there's a need, a definite need for artists that want studio spaces and would love to be down here.
We want to build this sense of community. We want to build a place where the general public can come. They know that if they're looking for the arts, they're here. The artists want to be here. We get requests monthly for studio space.
Charles has a commitment to Lubbock that not everybody does. A lot of people want to get away, and Charles did that, and then he felt a call home. And so he came home and said, this is where I want to be, and I want to make this place better, not only for myself, but for the artists that are here, which then I think helps develop the culture of our community.
To receive this award means a lot. It means a lot because we all want recognition for our work. The most important recognition I can get is for the arts.
I think sometimes people talk about being generous, and I've just seen on multiple occasions where Charles is generous to a point that it hurts himself.
There was a time in my life where I took a big jump, a big leap of faith, and I had no idea where I was going to land. And Charles made sure I had a good place to land, and I've loved every minute I've been here, and it's been a great experience.
And so I think sometimes we sort of want to pretend that we're good people, and I think Charles kind of goes above and beyond what a lot of people do.
I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. I'm blown away. I never thought that I would have this kind of an opportunity, and I appreciate not only the thank you, but I appreciate the opportunity. I feel like I've never had a day's labor. It's all been a party. Absolutely.